Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 4, Episode 9. It's called Broken Promises. Full spoilers for the episode as always. First things first.
God damn.
I don't think you're thinking the same thing I am. First things first. There was a chopping mall
I
reference
know.
in an episode of Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D.
That got me as well. Whoa.
Was
I've
there-
seen that one.
Don't get me wrong, there was movie references throughout. I love that everyone else, when Aida comes up in robots, everyone else is like, remember Ultron? You know, an actual killer robot thing that happened in the universe. But Max, like, has no one watched any movies in the last 30 years?
I know. Yo-Yo's like that as well, to be fair.
Oh yeah, but that's why they're a couple. That's why they're an item,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they understand each other.
Yeah, of
He
course.
references Lawnmower Man, the joke about making Radcliffe watch all the Terminator movies, and then Max like, what, even Salvation? He brought this on himself. That's a quality joke.
It was. That got me proper chuckling.
Yeah, it's also the second time this season they've referenced Terminator. Or maybe that was last season, because I always Electro Boy's name, I've forgotten his name already. Sky's boyfriend, yeah.
I know what you're on about.
Yeah, we didn't like him.
I don't know.
I think we've forgotten. We've intentionally just let it go.
Just wipe that. It's not important.
Yeah, but no, he said he hadn't seen the Terminator movies, and
Yeah.
Shield. Coulson told he was fired from Shield, and that was
Yeah,
also
yeah.
hilarious. But no, all the movie referencing was killing me in this.
Yeah, me too.
That was definitely the highlight of the comedy.
Absolutely on point.
Yeah, and then of course the way to kill the robot was shotgun axe and then fist bump. Roll credits. Perfect.
It's just perfection.
They turned movie referencing into an arc, into like a story that had a beginning, middle, and end in this episode.
Yeah, that's a true art form in itself.
Yeah. And then Chopping Mall.
Yeah, and then that after
see,
we finished.
see when she said that, she's like, have you seen Chopping Mall? And then he's like, offended. Of course I've seen Chopping Mall.
I know.
I love Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall's a great movie.
Oh, it's actually pretty fun. You should go and watch Chopping Mall.
You watch Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall, it's a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we should talk about actual plot things now.
Yeah, so before we even get to the plot, I was just going to say, this proper scratched my itch that I've had since Westworld ended.
yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Like, especially the first, 15 minutes or
It
so.
was funny. It was kind of a roller coaster. The main plot, because obviously we're in the LMD portion of the season, and they've already said that there's going to be 3 sections this season. We've already had the Ghost Rider section, we're on the LMD section, and then there's going to be another one. So presumably it'll either be 2 7-episode arcs or 6 and an 8, because that's how many we've got left.
You'd assume so,
including
yeah.
this one. That is.
That's assuming they want to split it as evenly as possible. This could be a bit of a shorter one.
Yeah, this could be like 3 episodes for all we know, but I'm just going to assume it's more even
Yeah.
than that. And then maybe we'll, because this might be the really smart way of having a break in between arcs, so it's not like interrupting the flow of the
Yeah,
story.
because we had one at the end of Ghost Rider.
Yeah, yeah.
Have one at the end of LMD, and yeah, it should work nicely.
And I'm not sure what the final one is, but I feel like that's what the Watchdog stuff's building up to, because that's been there all season, building in the background.
It makes sense, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
So that's what I'd expect. We'll talk about the Watchdogs after the LMD stuff, though. Let's talk about Ada and her rampage of terror. I will say this. This kind of put me on a bit of a roller coaster in terms of expectations, because we always talk about S.h.i.e.L.D., how it impresses with the pacing, to the point where I thought it was going too quick. Like, see, early on this episode, when Radcliffe and Fitz go over to the house and like, right, we need to shut down Ada, wipe her hard drive, because she knows stuff from the Darkhold, too dangerous.
Yeah.
And she immediately reveals herself to be psychotic and starts killing people in front of them. And I was like, already? I thought we were going to...
And throws Fits through the
Yeah.
glass door.
And I was like, I thought we were going to be hiding this for a little while and have her
Oh
being
no, she
sneaky.
comes straight out in it.
Right? And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. And don't get me wrong, I loved her being all killer robot. We even get a robot vision POV at one point, Terminator style.
It's cool.
Yeah, really
It's very cool.
But of course, it all actually spins on its head at the end. And the twist here is actually that, no, she wasn't sentient. This is all
Yeah.
Radcliffe's doing. He's evil.
I was loving the episode,
Yeah.
and then that I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, because it turns out, okay, he's got more than one Ada, which, I mean, she's a robot, so it kind of works, makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's still using May, who doesn't appear to know she's a LMD. She seems to
No.
think she is a regular person, is unaware that she is fake. So
Yes,
that's...
but then she'd just be controlled.
Yeah, she's just being controlled. I assume she's operating herself to an extent, just for casual...
She has to be, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's I think that's a cool little twist. It really flipped it on its head. Where normally it turns out the robots are sentient and then they start killing everyone. This was like the opposite of that. It was like it took the expectation and subverted it.
Yeah, it was very clever.
So that was cool. So Radcliffe wants the Darkhold, he wants eternal life and all that jazz, and he's using Ada. Obviously, Ada, we see get her head chopped off, but he's got another model, so we got her. And
I do love that though. When Mac comes in and chops the head off, this is right after we've had Fitz and like having this philosophical debate over whether it would be murder or is she alive, and Mac just doesn't give a damn. He's like, nope, head's coming off. This axe is through that neck.
Yeah. Even the conversation between him and Yo-Yo about how he took life insurance out in case he gets killed by a robot, and if he dies, his brother's going to be a very rich man.
Yeah.
Because you presume that the life insurance policy, that'll never happen. Let's give him a ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
But so super fun LMD stuff. Her rampaging through the base was cool. Some pretty decent action throughout of it, but it was mostly just really fun ideas playing upon themselves and then being twisted. And then you've got the movie jokes running through it as well. So just a super fun main plot in this one.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly set up a new dimension of it that I wasn't... Like, I thought, this feels like it's been wrapped up far too quick. But then,
yeah, I thought as well. It's just like LMD, this is the arc. And you assume more of them are going to be swapped out based on, the poster.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, this is the main attempt in the first episode?
Yeah, but it twists it, and now we have a new thing. Radcliffe is evil. He's the one working against him, and here we go. This is what the arc's about. That's really exciting, really cool, and a lot of fun. Meanwhile, s.h.i.e.L.D., who's now been called Quake by some people. Some people are actually coming up to her and calling her Quake, which is amusing.
I loved it when he came up to them and Simmons was just like, what do you want?
Yeah. I like the way she's been with him. I actually really like Mason's a character who at first I felt was... I don't know what to think of him for a long time.
Yeah.
He had the whole team that trusts, team that triumphs thing, and it was kind of cheesy, but I wasn't sure how to feel about him. I'm liking him more. He's grown on me.
Yeah, I like seeing him go out in the field. I mean, obviously we saw Coulson as the director do that for a long time, but he felt so different that seeing him kind of step up and take responsibility almost.
I really liked the scene with him and s.h.i.e.L.D. in his office, because it started off kind of antagonistic and they were battling each other.
Yeah.
And then he took a moment and he breathed and he sort of found common ground. And the whole idea that, the trust went away. The trust part of that whole saying's gone. It's eroded. And we need to try and build that back up. And it's almost like he realises if he can build something with s.h.i.e.L.D., he builds it with Coulson and the rest of the team.
Yeah.
She's like the core, she's the heart of the... I mean, I'd argue that Fitz and Simmons are actually the heart, but, in this scenario, she's the heart of the bond, and by doing that, it'll fix all the connections, and they'll be a team again. So I like that he realises that, and her little crack about him having a frame photo of the moment they made him famous.
Yeah, because he was going on how, it's not that important, and she just calls him out on it. It's like, yeah, but it's on your desk.
So it's a glamour shot of it.
Yeah.
Sir. So they go out, and they're trying to find the Inhuman that we've seen hatch in the last episode. Turned out to be Senator Nadir's brother. Yes. And she's got him out of this more secluded house, family home, and she's working with the watchdogs. She's arranged for the watchdogs to come and kill him.
I love that because this is what we kind of opened the episode on. Him, like waking up and going downstairs. I love the music in this scene. It was very different to what S.h.i.e.L.D. normally does. And there was a few times I thought that in this episode, actually. Yeah,
there was a few. Do you know what? Now that you've mentioned it, there was a couple of music cues that I was making me think that. See, at the start of the episode, when it's just Ada on her own in her lab, and she's attending to May and she's arranging things.
Yeah.
The music was very this sort of almost Westworld-esque, dreamlike quality.
There was a few times during that. Yeah. There's while she was coming through the base, there was this stabby synth piece that was very reminiscent of a certain scene in the last episode of Westworld.
Yeah, the music. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no spoilers obviously, but just the music was very reminiscent of the music in that, and I thought that was maybe intentional.
Yeah, no, I think that evokes that, and I really liked all those new music cues. I will say I do think the actor playing VJ, wasn't the best.
No,
Like,
not
like,
particularly.
like he's not terrible, but he kind of stuck out. He's a guest star. They didn't get someone as good as
Yeah,
the main
they didn't want to
cast.
pay too much.
Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like to me. And we don't know what his powers are until later in the episode, and she tries to have him killed, but then she changes her mind because he kind of talks her out of it. And then when S.h.i.e.L.D. do show up, and we'll talk about how they get to him in a little minute as well. We'll talk about a couple of those scenes. But when they get to him, they try and say, "Look, we want to help you. We're here." Simmons tries to talk to him, and he recognizes her face, but he still decides to go with his sister. And then his sister tricks him and shoots him on the helicopter.
Yes, because that wasn't obvious.
It was super obvious that it was going to happen, but he's learned the hard way.
Yeah, and he deserves it, frankly.
He does. He was a bit of an idiot in that scene. He followed his heart when he should. I mean, she had a team of assassins come to kill you. She lured you out to. She changed her mind, sure, but if she was willing to do it once.
Yeah, and the only reason that you stopped her in the first place was that you maybe convinced her you didn't have powers.
Yeah, and his powers seem to be kind of spider sense-esque, where he kind of reacts to incoming danger.
Yeah, it's that and maybe a touch of speedster as well, because he seems to do it very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think he can just move fast, though. I think it has to be triggered.
I agree. Or
Is
at the very least, he has to have it triggered now.
I think he has to see it coming, is the thing.
Yeah.
Because the gunshot, the reason why it works when she shoots him is because she
Yeah.
tells him to focus on her face and she distracts him.
Yeah.
But he's not dead. Because we see
No.
him, the ending tag is him falling into the water from the helicopter. They'll dispose of the body, they've tied a weight to his leg.
I love how long they stay on this shot of just the body
do.
going down and hitting the ground and crumpling.
It's the hitting the ground especially I like. I like the way his body kind of
Crumples in
slowly...
on itself,
but it's
doesn't it?
slow because it's in water, so it's this
Yeah.
nice
Because
sort of...
you'd almost expect them to just cut to it already down there.
Yeah. So, it was, in a way... Other than maybe the decapitation, it was maybe the money shot of the episode in terms of just looking good.
Yeah, it was.
But we see that when he lands in the bottom, he cocoons again, like the Terrigen crystal. So it seems like whatever his power is, it's to self-preserve.
Yeah,
I'd
that
argue,
or
yeah.
he's just not finished yet. He
Well,
got broke out early, and it's
maybe.
knocking him back in.
Because I'm trying to think of a reason why he did. Because obviously it's never that long. He was 7 months was a ridiculous. Like, it was out of the ordinary for it to last that
Yeah.
long. And I'm thinking if maybe it's related to his power, is why it took that long.
Yeah, could be.
So I'm kind of ballparking it. Obviously, if he's a character in the comics, some hardcore Marvel fans are like, "Papa, what? This, he's this."
Yeah.
But
No. My impression was that he'd been gestating and he still wasn't ready, but Simmons kind of triggered it early, and it used this. His body used this now as an excuse to re-go into it, and continue the process. So whatever his powers were here, this was only like an inkling. It wasn't fully formed in the slightest.
Yeah. So obviously he should pop back up. Maybe that'll be a third arc thing as well. Like I feel like because the other thing that's mentioned throughout this plot line is they keep talking about the Watchdogs have a leader, and we don't see who it is. But they're
Yeah.
obviously hinting at a big bad, and I feel like that's maybe mostly third arc. Like we'll tease the leader out this arc and the subplots, and then
Yeah, because we kind of teased the Watchdogs in general in the first arc.
yeah.
Now we can tease their aims to a degree.
Yeah, because
and
they're working with the senator, and that gives them a bit more of a personality.
It does, and
Yeah.
give them like an actual leadership figure, someone to fight against, rather than just a general organization.
But we know there's a higher up. There's a I can't remember the word to use. It wasn't director.
The boss, I think it was.
It may not have been boss. I feel like it was a more specific word. But whatever it was, there's a head honcho.
Yeah,
And I'm sure we'll build up to him or her, and we'll see them play out a big role in the last part of the season. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I wanted to mention, so the reason why they can track him and her to the house is they go to her office in the White House, and Simmons goes in and does a really cheesy fake American accent, which amuses me because both Fitz and Simmons now at some point in the show have done a fake American accent, and it amuses me. The only thing I really want to bring up here is that the henchman, the assistant, goes into the office and calls her, and Simmons listens in and hears that he knows who she is, so she just drops the accent and says, "I'm going to need that phone," or whatever, and she realizes why she's there. I just want to point out there was something really absurd and almost funny about the way this 6 foot+ man immediately decides to tackle Simmons, who's 5'5".
yeah, it was amusing.
He's he's in good shape. He's clearly over 6 foot, and he
But
rugby tackles her.
in his defense, he knows she's a S.h.i.e.L.D. agent, and even the scientists got to get training of some sort.
Yeah, but he does know she's a scientist, though. He does know that. He says that.
He does, but maybe he goes S.h.i.e.L.D. Maybe they all, maybe it's something they know that they all have training of some degree.
It was just the way he tackled her was really comical. It was like I'd expect a man to tackle another man that size that way, maybe, rather than throwing a punch or something. And maybe that was the point. Is maybe he doesn't feel comfortable just throwing a punch because it is a woman.
Yeah.
So a tackle feels more, I don't know, less assault, like, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was just comical the way he flew across the screen into her, and she's like so small and tiny, and they just go flying. It just really kind of cracked me up.
Yeah. It also, that point reminds me, there was a couple of very meta jokes. Obviously, that one had where they talk about how she's been kidnapped every year.
That was a good joke. Yeah,
3 times. Or
she's been kidnapped 3 times since I've known her, but only 2 of those were on Earth.
Yeah, and there was the other one where they were saying, they get hacked into at least once a year.
Yeah. The comedy's always on point with S.h.i.E.L.D. I always feel like
It is.
It's one of the things that I think there's 2 main holdovers that they've kept from like Whedon setting up, and obviously it's Whedon's brother and sister-in-law who run the show. But the 2 main holdovers that I recognise from Whedon is the comedy that just perfectly inserts itself all the time without feeling out of place, and the whole dysfunctional oddball family kind of setup.
Definitely.
Those are the 2 things.
It is, and in essence, it still feels like a Whedon show because of that, and also the fact that it's not afraid to make some ballsy moves.
Yeah. The pacing is completely batshit.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But I love it for it. It makes it really unpredictable at times. And even when you think, I see where this is going, instead of taking 5 episodes that you think it's going to take, it does it in 10 minutes. And you're like, oh crap, okay, we're onto something, right, okay.
Yeah, like this shocked us. And we went into this thinking, we know what to expect because we kind of know what the arc is to a degree. And then it's like, here you go, here, have a full episode. And it's like, hang on, this is what you thought the entire arc was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, have the real thing.
Yeah, they flipped us, and that's good. It's good that this show can still do that in season 4, and it's been very good at doing that since the end of season 1. So
yeah,
ever since that reveal in season 1 with Ward, Hail Hydra, from that moment on,
it really has.
So
you know when Ada sliced up and fake May's head, did she put something in?
I took that as she may have done, but I feel like she already had the link to the eye to watch stuff.
Well, that's what I thought, which is why.
Well, I think it was just to make it look like she'd been punched hard. Because Coulson looks at it and goes, "Oh, you get hit hard as well." I think it was just.
Could be, yeah.
So, she could have been tinkering with it.
It was the way it was so specifically sliced down that it looked like there was something going in, hidden inside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't feel like I know what it would be though, because she's already got control over. So.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But obviously, before the end reveal, I was thinking, maybe it was like a backup of her own.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, so that when I was expecting Mac, takes the head off, and what I was expecting at the end is a reveal that May is now Ada.
Actually, Joe, I was this is almost a criticism of the way they introduced the second Ada at the end, but I legitimately thought for a couple of seconds that it might be just Radcliffe imagining her.
Yeah, I did too.
And I think that might be just a slight complaint in that it just wasn't super clear. Like, it didn't feel like they made her walk out in a sort of dun way, and I feel like they maybe should have done.
It just kind of turned and she was there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they were aware that was a problem and they addressed it in the dialogue, so ultimately it didn't matter.
They did address it in the dialogue. I do think that was a little bit clunky though. The way she says, "Oh, my previous model tried this."
Yeah, I agree, but at least it didn't leave us hanging.
True. They quickly solved it. It just was.
No, it is an issue, but at least they fixed it to some degree.
But it's weird though, because they filmed that line, so they could have fixed it just on set.
Yeah.
Unless they were just we've only got 10 minutes left to shoot this last shot. They just say this.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that could have been it. But no, S.h.i.e.L.D.'s still a lot of fun.
I mean, I love this. I honestly thought this was better than all of the Ghost Rider stuff. And I liked the Ghost Rider stuff a lot. I thought it was good. But this I thought was better.
I think I agree.
I feel like I did really like the Ghost Rider stuff, but always throughout, I felt a little bit like something was missing. Probably because the team was also splintered throughout.
I think the team being splintered, and I think Eli wasn't that interested in a villain, whereas this is a little bit more close to home
Yeah.
and defined, so we can latch onto it a little bit more. I think all of that first part was really well done. No, I think none of the action in this one measured up to some of the great action, because we had that
Oh, of
great
course not.
cafeteria fight with some great car chases in that first chunk of the season.
Oh, of course.
But who knows what we'll get next? I think the best episode from the first chunk of the season was probably the Power Out episode.
Yeah,
I really
definitely.
liked that one.
That was good.
No, so that's a strong start to the second arc, and I'm loving this whole 3 distinct arcs. In a
Yeah,
season.
and obviously there's threads going through with the Watchdogs, but I love, like you say, I love that we can get. No, let's just do story arcs.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. So hopefully we get a 5th season, and they can continue.
They did say at the TCAs that they're very hopeful for a 5th. That it's looking likely.
I feel like it'll be the last one though, because this will put them over the 100th episode, which is syndication, and at that point they can.
I agree. They did say though the numbers all look very good when they look at the plus 7 days. They always go up at least 100%.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to finish at 5. Like if they.
No, I'm saying like they're quite positive on it from the sounds of it.
Oh, good. Well, my only real hope is then looking at when S.h.i.e.l.d. ends is that I just want them to know that it's the last season, so they can send us off in the proper way.
And I'm sure they will.
Yeah, that'd be my one hope. Even if it means getting like a 13 episode season as a last one. If like we don't really want to renew it, but we want to give it an ending, so we'll give it a shorter, kind of thing.
Honestly, a 13 episode probably wouldn't even harm this show, given that it's splitting itself up into chunks already.
Yeah. So there you go. That's episode 9 of S.h.i.e.L.D. Strong start to the second arc. Excited to have this back. This is the first show back actually out of the network stuff.
It feels good,
which is cool. Nothing else this week though.
No, it's also really weird considering the last couple of years we've had to wait longer for this than anything else because Agent Carter.
Yeah, last year this would have been the first Agent Carter.
Yeah, and we got this back in what, like March?
Yeah, it was like the start of March the last year. So I am thankful because I didn't like Agent Carter. It was dull as hell, and this was a lot of fun. So
yep.
Thank you very much. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot if you do. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.